Kind of like, when the piano starts playing in church, everybody kind of gets quiet. That's kind of way it is. So it's 7:30, and we're going to try to keep everything moving pretty fast because everybody's got a lot of stuff to do. But this is education, as we well know, is the biggest part of our budget. So this is extremely important. Not important, but it's extremely important. So we will listen and move forward. So Senator Burns, do you mind? What number are you? 11. Do you mind opening prayer, please, sir?
Absolutely. If you will, join me, please. Father God, we're grateful. We're blessed, and we appreciate the privilege of service. We thank you for education. It is the core of what we do as a society. Educate our young as well as our adults. So God, give us your wisdom, give us your guidance, give us your patience. In Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we're gonna start off with Department of Early Care and Learning, and there she is. She always sits behind that post. Yes, ma'am. If you'd introduce yourself, please, and tell us what line number and page number we're working off of.
I sure will.
Thank
Good
you.
morning. I'm Amy Jacobs, the Commissioner of the Georgia Department of Early Care and Learning, or DECAL, and we are on page 1, section 22. Our first item is 121.5. This was an addition by the House for us to utilize existing funds to expand our CAPS slots to serve an additional 1,288 children. Just as a reminder, our CAPS program is our state child care subsidy program, which helps low-income working families pay for child care. We talk a lot about the importance of starting earlier and making sure children have access to high-quality early learning, and this would help us to expand that. There is definitely a need for additional CAPS scholarships. We serve about 17% of the eligible population, so this would add an additional 1,288 slots. I'll explain this a little bit more when I get to pre-K because there's a corresponding item to help explain the utilize existing funds part. Our next items are on page 3.
Would you pull the mic down? There you go. Thank you.
So our next items are on page 3 in the pre-K program, 123.6.
Page 4.
So the first item is a reduction of $125,304 to reduce our formula funds for the annual update of teacher training and experience. So pre-K teachers are on the same salary schedule as Department of Education teachers, and this is just based on an actual formula run. We need a little bit less money based on teacher training and experience this year or next year. The next item is 123.7, which is an increase of the House change to $4.2 million. This is an increase in our formula funds to reflect the increase in the per member per month rate for SHBP. So pre-K teachers who are in public schools are on SHBP, so this goes directly to those school systems to pay their SHBP bills for those teachers.
So we're going to see that throughout this whole budget. So would you, so we don't have to repeat again, would you tell us a little bit about how all that happened?
So this is a rate that's determined by the Department of Community Health. They increased their per member per month rate from $1,885 to $2,028 for July 2026. So this reflects that increase for our teachers.
And then the House went in and reduced that.
They reduced it, but we confirmed that that is accurate based on our current teacher count.
Good, thank you.
The next item is 123.8. This is an increase of a little over $12 million for our third year of our 4-year phase-in to reduce our class size from 22 to 20 students. If you remember, several years ago, we began this as a 4-year process to reduce our class size back down to 20 students. This would require us adding 100 classes each year, and so this will provide funding to add 100 classes next school year.
Are we having any trouble with finding classrooms, or is that an issue?
You know, we are not. We've been successful in we add more than 100 classrooms because we always have closures throughout the year.
Right.
What we're seeing is decreased enrollment, and so those classes are not filling like they usually do. But we have not had any trouble, and we've been able to add them across places in our state and to child care providers. And we've got some new school systems that are interested in providing pre-K for the first time as well. So that has not been an issue. It's the declining enrollment with fewer in a classroom.
Thank you.
The next item is 123.9. This is an add by the House of $9.7 million to increase funds to expand our extended day program to our pre-K priority group. So this relates to that first item that I talked about, to utilize existing funds to add additional CAP scholarships. So we have about 2,488 pre-K students who also receive a CAP scholarship, which helps their families pay for their before and after care. So our pre-K dollars pay for their school day, but these low-income working families also have a CAP scholarship to help pay for their before and after care. So they have full access to that program. This would add pre-K dollars to fully fund that population. When we do that, that frees up our general CAPS budget so we can add an additional 1,288 scholarships to serve other children that would be CAPS eligible.
As you mentioned earlier.
Yes, sir. That corresponds to that item. The next item is 123.10. This is an add by the House of $708,000 to increase funds to expand our Rising Pre-K program to add 25 classes during the summer of 2027. So if you'll remember, our Rising Pre-K program is for students who need additional help before they even start pre-K. We've had this program for over 12 years. It's a smaller program with about 70 classrooms right now. We will be adding 25 classrooms this summer. This will help us add an additional 25 the next summer, and this goes back to starting earlier. So these are children that will attend Georgia Pre-K, but we've identified them as needing extra help before they even start their pre-K year. Usually, these are dual language learners and children with disabilities.
So how do you determine where those classrooms are going to be?
So we work with existing pre-K classrooms, and they help us identify students that would be enrolled in their pre-K class for the next year that need that extra 5 weeks of support before they start their pre-K year.
Thank you.
The next item is 123.11. This is increased funds to provide 5 days of leave for pre-K lead and assistant teachers, an add of $3.975 million by the House. Currently, there is no statewide requirement for any paid leave for pre-K teachers. It's up to each individual provider if they provide paid leave or not. So this would require them to offer 5 days of paid leave for our pre-K teachers, and in addition would provide them with funds to pay for a substitute for that day. So they would be paying their pre-K teacher and assistant teacher while they're on leave, but also would help them with that cost by providing funds for a substitute when those teachers are out.
So is there any leave days at all for pre-K teachers?
There's no requirement to do that. So it's very different across the state. There's no uniformity on that. So this would allow us to provide some uniformity for these teachers. As you know, most of these teachers are females. Many of them are working moms, and so this would be really helpful for recruitment and retention, especially as we add 100 new classrooms hopefully next year.
Right, thank you.
And then the last item is 123.12. It's an addition by the House of $350,000 to increase funds for our summer transition program partnership expansion. So basically, we have a partnership with the Alliance Theater where they provide artist residencies in our summer transition program during the summer. This would allow us to do 30 classrooms during our pre-K year with the Alliance, and they provide arts integrated residencies for our teachers on our literacy standards. It's been highly successful, and this would allow us to expand it and try it out for additional literacy professional development during our pre-K year. And those are all of our changes.
Any questions by the committee? Senator Parent.
Get a little more detail on where we are with CAPS right now.
So, sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Well, you might have a different question, but in general, we serve about 51,000 children in CAPS. It's a budget of about $385 million. Our best estimate tells us that that's about 17% of the eligible population.
How much?
17%.
17%, okay. And what percent were we serving when we utilized the pandemic era aid?
I don't remember, but I can tell you it was about 72,000 scholarships as opposed to the 51,000. I do not remember the percentage, and I don't want to give you the wrong.
So maybe about a third more children.
Maybe, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I believe that a number of peer states around us decided to utilize state funds to fill some of the federal funding that ended. because of the importance of this program. Alabama, Florida, looks like Louisiana, Kentucky put in, let's see, Florida 69 million is what I'm looking at. Alabama 30 million. I just really think that, this program is so great because it's a 2-generation solution. You get the kids ready for school and the parents can work, which is a huge, economic development tool, and also probably cuts down on other federal spending. Why don't we do what these states are doing and understand what a, huge miss it is to just be, throwing 21,000 kids off?
Well, we're not throwing them off.
Well, kind of. We lowered the income eligibility so they would not qualify. Am I right?
We just increased it back to what
But
normally is.
we lowered it so they would
We
not.
had to, so we could attrition back. So
Right.
we could
Meaning
remain
we
within our
lowered it
budget.
so that families wouldn't qualify. And what is the income that qualifies?
It's 50% of SMI, which means you would be between 55,000 and 90,000 for a family of 4.
Okay. And what was it when we lowered it
40,000 would be the minimum. The same would be the maximum.
for a family of 4?
Mm-hmm.
40K for a family of 4. And then you also need to have other, but it's not like everyone with that income would qualify,
That's
right?
right. We also
Who
have-
qualified?
We also have a priority group requirement. So there are 13 priority groups that we have identified of needing it the most. And so you would also have to be in a priority group, and you would also have to meet the activity requirement, meaning you'd have to either work or be in school 24 hours a week.
Right. Well, that's the point. I mean, I'm fine with the activity requirement. What I have an issue with is how extremely limited we've made it. I mean, the figures you rattled off made it sound as though people can qualify, but I mean, I guess you already said it. We're only serving 17% of families. I'd really like to see, the state, as we go forward, meet with some of these leaders in all these other states who have much more realized the value of this program than Georgia has. And I certainly hope that this year we can do a little more to try to put more money into
Well, I
it.
think the good news is if the pre-K adjustment is supported, where it's adding $9 million of lottery dollars to pay for that pre-K priority group, that frees up 1,288 slots that we can add to the
Yeah,
budget,
which is great.
Would bring it over 52,000. So any add would have to be incremental because it is a really expensive addition to the budget. And the state does support it with $77 million.
Well, Louisiana did 51 million, and they are much smaller than us. Kentucky did 86 million. So I just think it's really valuable, and I just always want to bring it up and put in the plug for where I think we're missing out a little bit on this program.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Senator Kirkpatrick.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. My question has to do with a bill that we passed, I think last year, about the COAM machines. I'm wondering if any of that money ends up in your programs.
I am not qualified to answer that. I do not think so. But I'm not qualified to answer that. That would be a lottery question. I don't know.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. Great explanation. On our next on the agenda is Department of Education. Y'all please introduce yourself and tell us what page number and line number we're dealing with.
Yeah, I'm Russ Grome. I'm the Chief Financial Officer for the Department of Education.
And I'm Sarah Royo, the Director of Accountability and Finance.
And we are on page 5, section 24.
And those pages, committee members, those pages are a little bit different from what we got here, so that's why we asked them to refer to the line numbers.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir. All right. The department's first major change is on page 6, line 136.6. This is an increase for 2 financial review positions in our finance and business office for a total of $260,000.
And you told us yesterday y'all currently have 3 positions, 3 people doing that?
Yes, sir. We have, for the entire state, we have 3 state-funded positions that financially support all of our districts. So,
So 3 people for 180, so a lot of what we've seen in this one particular place we can't talk about, we found out we need to probably expand that.
Yes, sir. That is exactly what we found out. And that one particular place is actually utilizing one of our 3 resources. So now for the remaining 180 plus districts, we have 2 financial support.
Do those people also do training for the board, financial training for the board and all?
Yes, sir. We assist GSBA with the superintendent training. We provide all the training for all financial directors in the state. We do webinars for the districts. We provide the FUMGALA, which is our financial, basically the handbook for all financial districts. We keep the state chart of accounts updated. We're basically the I call it the state accounting office for the school districts.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Our next big change is 136.7. This is similar to our financial review positions, but this is $120,000 for a pupil transportation consultant. We also have 3 field consultants for the entire pupil transportation program, and they mainly focus on safety and for the bus drivers and providing training, which is currently each consultant has about 65 districts under them. So, needing an additional person to assist with that. And we used, back in, I think, 08, 09 era, we had about 7 consultants, but, through the years, through the budget cuts and stuff like that, it's actually been reduced down to about 3. And, safety with school buses is very important to us.
So
we're
currently
replacing.
you have 3?
Yes, sir. We have 3
So we're
consultants.
looking for one more.
Yes, sir. One more position.
Thank you.
On page 7, 137.6, there is $500,000 for a chief turnaround officer, financial turnaround officer, and a statewide attendance officer.
And explain what that is.
So the statewide attendance officer is in coordination with Senate Bill 513 from the 2026 session, which requires districts to submit a notice of noncompliance with an attendance intervention plan for chronically unexcused absences. That's what that officer's position will do. The turnaround officer is kind of built around the district that we were discussing. This was prior to some of the legislation that's coming out. This would be someone similar to our chief turnaround officer on academics, someone we could put in districts that were struggling to assist with more operational, such as like if they had human resources, financial, transportation, school nutrition. If they had issues, we would have a person we could actually send out to the district.
Okay, thank you.
Page 8, 138.5. This is eliminate funds for completion schools. This was eliminated. This is actually zeroed back out, which puts the $2 million back in. This will allow us, they still haven't identified a district yet, but when we do identify, which our hope is by July 1st, 2026, this will allow us to have the funds to start immediately with the next completion school, which is in the central Savannah RESA area. All right, page 9, 140.5. This is to utilize existing funds for Cambridge International Program exam for free and reduced lunch students. 140.
And that's for AP testing. We have, that would be for AP testing and PSAT testing. Is that what we're talking about?
Well, that's the net. 140.6 is.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm sorry.
140.5. I think we're still trying to work out the funding
Okay.
that's associated with that
Okay.
one. 140.6 is for the is a $1,381,361 increase. This is adjusting the base, as you know, each year in amended. This is the same amount as that we asked for in the amended budget. We haven't adjusted the base in several years for PSAT and AP, and as the state pays for all students to take the PSAT, all 10th graders to take the PSAT exam, and one AP exam for all free and reduced lunch students, and one AP STEM exam for all students.
And then the student has to pay for the SAT.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay, and the ACT. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
All right, our next major change is page 14, 146.7.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, this is was to eliminate funds for character education program. The House has restored half of what we had last year. And I think I've spoke about this before with the Leader. It's the Leader in Me program, which is currently serving 283 schools and roughly 300,000 students. There's a report, and I'm not sure if you guys got. If we haven't shared it, we can share it from the Leader in Me program, which shows increased gains in reducing absenteeism and gains in our literacy, math, and school climate.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Page 14, 146.9. There's $2,700,000 in one-time grants for school systems to purchase vision and auditory screening equipment. This is in coordination with House Bill 1402 from the 2026 session. And this is about $15,000 per district.
And I don't believe we've seen that. I don't think that bill's come over to the Senate yet, has it? It has?
This was 26 session.
Okay, thanks. Oh, I think maybe it's in Senator Kilpatrick's committee. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Page 15, 147.5. That's our next change. This is $1 million to increase funds to administer a summer nutrition program for eligible students in coordination with the Department of Human Services. A similar program was administered during the pandemic, which was the EBT program. So we'll be working with DHS. I don't think we've actually nailed down the process yet, but I think this is getting it started.
Okay.
All right, page 17, 149.5. There is $1,698,264 in existing funds that are going to be utilized to retrofit 943 of the out-of-cycle diesel buses with filtration systems to improve interior air quality. And 149.6 on the same page is $20 million in existing funds to recognize for capital outlay projects. The department has reached out to GSFIC, and we should be able to accommodate this redirect of funds.
Okay.
Okay. Page 18, 150.2.
Okay.
This is a $2,472,000 reduction based on compliance with House Bill 1259 from the 2026 session, which prohibits local school systems to include out-of-system virtual school students for the purpose of equalization.
Yeah, I think we got a bill coming out of the House on that.
All right. The next major change is page 19, 152.9. This is similar to what Amy discussed. This is a reduction for the per member per rate from the 1885 to the 1935 per member per month,
Right.
SHBP. Page 19, 152.10. There's the special needs scholarship base was reduced to $5 million, or was reduced by $5,526,296. This, the $14 million that the governor put in would adjust the base up to what it was in the 2026 year. This just reduces that amount that we're getting closer to the base, but we're happy as any increase to the base will help us next year when we come in the amended budget to make our request. Next up is the 152.11, which is $31 million for the implementation of literacy coaches in schools serving grades K through 3 per House Bill 1193. Page 19, 152.12, $5,441,245 reduction based on compliance with House Bill 1259, which prohibits school systems with less than an average of 70 on the CCRPI in the past 2 years to provide virtual instruction. All right, our next major change is on page 24, 158.6. This is a state schools reduction that was included in the governor's budget that has been zeroed out by the House. This is related to training and experience, and I think we sent something over to Lindsay that we can share on our numbers on that.
Okay.
The page 25, 159.3, there was an additional $2,600,924 for school social workers. This brings the total grant now to $5 million.
And that's one social worker per how many kids?
It was 1 per 2475, but now with this additional funding, I don't think we've worked out the formula.
Yeah, we're still.
We're still
Okay.
working on how that's
Okay,
going to
okay.
equate into the
Thank
formula
you.
calculation. Yes, sir.
Senator Kilpatrick, you got a question?
Yeah, just, I'm trying to understand what training and experience funds actually means.
Training experience is in QBE, which is basically, the teachers have their step increases on the salary scale, and the experience also, Sarah might be better to answer, but it also includes, the different degrees and certification levels
In their years of experience.
in years of experience. So as
Okay,
they have more years of experience, the teacher, we fund more.
thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right, 159.5, $2,500,000 for Boost 2.0, increasing the amount of funds available to communities and statewide grantees. Page 26, 160.6, has an additional $800,000 for high-demand heavy equipment simulator grants. This is outside the top state for talent grants that would only fund construction simulators.
One thing that I've kind of got a bug in my craw about that. I obviously support the simulators tremendously, no question about it. They make a big difference. I've been in schools where they have them and all that. I wish the schools would actively go to these companies that produce these simulators and receive some type of contribution for the cost of those. And I can't imagine those kids going in and sitting in those simulators every day with a great big sign on the side of it. This is so and so made by so and so. That kind of gets in their brain, and that's where they want to work at. So, I think we need to encourage our schools, these college and career academies, to look further at contributions from outside rather than contribution from the state of Georgia. Obviously, we need to be a big part of it, but I'd like to see the businesses and industry step up to the plate and be a part of this too. Thank you. Thank y'all for listening on that.
Yes, sir. Our last major change is on page 26, 160.7. This is $1 million for AI and coding literacy program. This is described as a program that would support a rising in-demand skill set. Those are the major changes in
Okay.
the education budget.
Thank you, sir. Any questions of the committee? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Senator Burns, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a general question. What's the total budget for Department of Education? All in.
Oh, I want to say it's around 16 billion, but let me check that. I believe it's on the last page, right?
Well, break down the state versus the feds. So state funds versus fed
I
funds.
don't have the exact number. I want to say it's a little over $1 billion federal funds and about 15 billion. Is it? About 14.
So out
and
of
a half.
38 billion, roughly, total state budget's roughly 38.7. Is that right? So what percentage is Department of Education?
It's around 40% or maybe 42% of the overall state funds budget.
Okay.
And that doesn't, I don't think that includes higher ed.
And
No, that's just K-12.
yeah, over time, how have you seen that adjusted? How has that been adjusted up? As it grows, realizing that what we're seeing now is a plateau in student population. Is that not true?
Yes, sir.
That is true.
Yeah,
So
FTEs were.
we have a fairly stable student population base.
Good point.
And most of what I see in this budget is increases in overhead, not increases to direct instruction, because direct instruction is flat. It appears to be flat.
Correct. Well, I think there's increases. The increases that you see in like QBE and stuff are mainly related to like the training and experience, because as each year the teachers have another year, the costs go up in funding those teachers. A lot of these funding are for additional programs that are focused on things such as literacy, those type.
I'd like to go on record that I'm disappointed that the superintendent's not here, because your budget is the single largest component of Georgia's budget. Is that not true?
That is true. We have
Thank
the
you.
largest.
And with a stable and flat student population, what I see in your request are all overhead. no direct student instruction increases, because there would be no direct student instruction increases. Is that not true?
I think literacy coaches are direct. These other
Literacy coaches are the only thing I see that actually impact the classroom. Is that fair?
Well, I think the like the construction high cost equipment is for.
I'd like to see a
Classroom.
percentage
Yes,
of
sir.
your requests that are direct student instructional funds. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Great question. Thank you, sir. Any other questions, committee? Any comment? Any more comment?
No, sir. I do apologize for the superintendent. He actually is on the road today. He is getting the Teacher of the Year finalists. He is announcing the 10 Teacher of the Year finalists.
Okay.
But he would have liked to come. I think he was here yesterday.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Senator Burns, for those timely comments. Employee Retirement System of Georgia. There he is. Jim, how you doing today? Really? Please introduce yourself and tell us what, I guess more important, what line number you're on rather than a page, because your pages are different from ours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to begin on line 164.1.
Okay, hold on just a second. Okay.
I just have a couple items to bring to your attention today. First, 164.1 is the Georgia Military Pension Fund. The annual required contribution for next year is $76,000 lower than it was for fiscal year 26. And so you can see that change reflected there in the document. Line 165.1 is the Public School Employees Retirement System annual contribution. That contribution requirement is decreasing by about $5.36 million from FY26 to FY27. You can see that change reflected there. And then
Okay.
finally, 166.1 under System Administration. The base budget now includes $26.75 million each year for one-time payments to ERS COLA eligible retirees. In FY26, that amount was increased by $10 million on kind of a one-time basis, and that $10 million has come out of the initial proposal for FY27. So that's the minus $10 million that you see there as well. And that's all I have, sir.
Any questions? I see none. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Barrow, who the Education Committee has worked very closely with this session. Please introduce yourself and tell us what line number.
Yes,
And-
sir.
And we got an hour left, so I think we're going to have to pick it up a little bit. Okay.
I can help you with that, Chairman.
I know that.
Good morning, Chairman and committee members. I'm Joseph. Please call me Jody Barrow. I'm the Executive Secretary for the Georgia Professional Standards Commission. You can find our work on section 27, page 67. And we'll go ahead and I won't spend any time on the statewide budget adjustments. Y'all have already heard that. We are giving a little money back on 27.10.5, some startup costs that we had from last year with some investigator positions we hired. The big ask is on line 27.10.6. It appears that our friends in the House.
Those are the house line numbers. They're on 181.5
I'm
and
sorry.
181.6.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Lindsay.
thank
But the big request comes from a number of legislative issues that are in play in the House and in the Senate. I know
Oh, yeah.
Senator Hickman shared
Right.
a number of things that you've talked about. Basically, what we're asking for us some additional positions for education specialists. Right now we have 71 PSC approved preparation providers across the state. They host 951 approved educator programs. So everything from elementary ed all the way up to advanced mathematics. A lot of programs to review. Right now we have a cycle with the current staff that we have, and frankly we struggle with this, but we review every 7 years. I think that's a little long, and one of the things in the Literacy Act that has been requested is that we review every 4 years. We're happy to do that, but we can't do it with the staff that we have to have. We're going to have to add at least 4. I think that's very conservative. We may have to come back and ask for more later, but we'll start slow and then come back maybe in the midterm adjustment if we need some additional help. There are other things I could talk about. If you want to go into this real detailed, I can tell you exactly how things operate, who's doing what, when, where, and how. But that's the long and the short of it.
No, sir, I think that's great. We got a couple of our people already told me they have to leave early, so.
Yes, sir.
So if you would, thank
If
you.
y'all are happy, I'm happy.
Well, I'm sorry, Dr. Kirkpatrick.
I missed one of the things that you said. You said currently you have 7 specialists and you want to move to what?
We currently have 8 total. They're different job responsibilities that are specialist in nature. They're program directors, but we're asking for 4 additional people. Basically, we're cutting the time to have program reviews from 7 years to 4 years, so almost in half. And we've got to have some additional help. We can't do it with what we're doing right now. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Barrow. Governor's Office Student Achievement, Fran and Stacy, or just Fran. Please tell us what Senate line we're on, right? Okay.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning. I'm Fran Dundor, Executive Director of the Governor's Office of Student Achievement. We hope soon to be the Governor's Office of Education and Workforce Strategy, and we will start on line 182.5.
And that's what this is about, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We provided some documents for you in the form of an org chart and an internal budget, which will help with line 182.5. The governor's
I'm trying to get off. I was listening to it, but I can't seem to. It's okay. Turn it off.
Oh, it was the live stream.
It was the live stream.
It was repeating. If you heard what you said 5 minutes ago, that would be
Right.
That's from off.
We'll start at line 182.5, and the documents that we provided for you will help support the behind-the-scenes understanding of that. You have an organizational chart and an internal budget. This is, we had asked for an increase in funds for ongoing operations to support House Bill 1302. The governor had put in $5,000,010. The House had reduced that by $1 million. As RFPs come in, we do find that we do feel confident that we can work within that amount as we stand up the Navigator program, as we reorganize our agency to support this work with Top State for Talent, and align really, as we pull in literacy as well, cradled really to college and into the workforce and career. So that is that item. Line 182.7, the House added $150,000 to increase funds for the review and recommendation of professional learning and development for current teachers, literacy coaches, and administrators. This is part of House Bill 1193, and we provided those numbers. Senator Hickman, I know you do not like round numbers, but we provided those numbers based on just estimations of what it may cost us to secure research professionals to help to support that review and recommendation process, and that is the same for 182.8 as well as 182.9. Those are 3 items from that legislation that request our services to review and recommend for those 3 items: screeners, high qualified instructional materials, as well as professional development for these educators. Line 182.10 is a transfer from the governor's office to the University of System. The House added that in as well, and I need a little more clarification on that, and we'll ask that question. 185.5 is an addition of $5.5 million for an applied research or reading center to support professional development for 1193. Again, have asked for clarity to understand how those funds will be used and how we can best support them. The final line item is 185.6, which is an increase for funds for a director of literacy. We currently have 2 positions in our budget funded under the original literacy bill. We currently feel as if we can make do with those positions. Any
Okay.
questions?
Wow. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions of the committee? Senator Kilpatrick.
Sorry, I'm trying to understand this sheet about the org chart
Yes, ma'am.
that you handed to us.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you just briefly explain that?
I sure can. So what you're looking at here is our internal organization with executive director. At the top of that, we will have 2 facets. One facet operated by our chief operating officer, who is sitting next to me, Jackie Lundberg, who's been with our agency with state government for 30 years in a variety of ways, who will help lead Top State for Talent and the integration of this workforce agenda into our agency. What I have for you there aligns with the color coding on your spreadsheet.
Right.
And so the positions that we have requested to add are being requested to support 2 pieces of legislation primarily, and that is House Bill 1164, which covers audits, and that will allow us to really create a little more robust audit requirement for some oversight in both the financial area as well as in the area of performance waivers and accountability, which is the impetus for us existing in the first place. We've also requested teammates to support House Bill 1302, which did pass out of subcommittee, the Senate subcommittee yesterday unanimously, and we're very proud of that. And to support standing up the Navigator tool, which will align credentials of value with opportunities to use those credentials to enter opportunities in our state at the post-secondary level as well as at the career in the industry level. Does that help? Okay.
Thank you. Thank y'all. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for the information. Look forward to working more with you.
As well. Thank you.
Mr. Chancellor, I saw you. There you go. And I know you have Ashley. Ashley was here also.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members. My
Yes.
name is George Irvin Perdue III. Please call me Sonny.
Good morning, George.
I know you're on a rush, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate that, but I just need to take a moment to suck up a little bit.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank you all. You all have been very gracious and generous to the university system, and I think making the investment of the taxpayers' money, and it doesn't go unnoticed. I think with the investment we're making, our commitment is to use the resources that you are distributing from the taxpayers of Georgia to enhance the state economic development and so many things. It's important, and I want you all to know it's deeply valued, and several things in the amended budget, the needs-based scholarship, obviously, but our $2,000 bonuses for our employees, those kind of things, and we're just truly grateful for the support, and especially know the having sat in your seat, knowing the competing priorities that you all have to deal with. I just want to express the thanks before we start.
Thank you,
there.
sir.
So we're on page 34 to 51 of the Senate tracking sheet there as you begin our teaching program on section 294. That's on page 47. When you're with me, say, got it. It's our USG's largest program. Page 47, section 294. Start with the changes to the teaching program. I'll go through the tracking sheet in order.
Yes, sir. We're ready.
294.1, the $4 million increase is to reflect the change in the TRS employer rate there from 21.21 to 22.32. You'll obviously see this change in other USG programs in other education budgets as well. 294.2, 294.3, that's a $133,000 increase and a $39,000 increase. reflecting an adjustment to premiums for our Technology Authority administered programs and DOS insurance programs there. You'll also see these changes in other USG programs and other state agency budgets as well. With me? 294.4, 218.6 million. That's the $216.5 million for credit hour growth through the funding formula. I think most of you are aware that these are a 2-year lag, meaning the FY25 credit hours used to calculate this formula. In FY25, we increased those credit hour productions by almost 5% in that way. We are past the COVID and the growth has occurred. You notice that while, as Senator Burns mentioned, we have a flat K through 12 population, our enrollment continues to grow with a record this last fall, and it looks good for this spring as well. So we're grateful for that. In that same section, 294.4, it also includes a $2.1 million in M&O funds for the new academic square footage across our institutions. As you know, those are essential for plant operations, utilities, custodial services, maintenance, and other facility-related operating expenditures. On 294.5, it's $34.9 million. That supports increases in healthcare costs for active employees and retirees, and you'll see that across other state agencies as well. 294.6, that's a return of $4.69 million. The returning startup funds, in accordance with the plan for AU, was at the Savannah startup there for 4-year medical school. Those AU admitted its first class of 41 students in July of 24, and now is generating adequate funding by the credit hours through the formula and tuition to sustain the program. So we're returning the 4.69 that was in the base budget.
Thank you for doing that.
294.7 is $9.5 million. That, again, is supporting the beginning of a new medical school at our flagship at the University of Georgia. That'll be needed for the first 4 years until those credit hours earn their own way. And the new medical school is expected to enroll the first cohort of students, thanks to you all, this fall, in the fall of 26 there, pending, again, accreditation and other regulatory concerns that way. So we're happy about that. Since we're discussing the funding formula, I just want to say something to you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
We're hearing, we received a letter just yesterday, I think, asking for our comments about a change in funding of online hours and how these hours are funded. I just want to speak to the committee very directly. As you may be aware, our system offers many options for students to earn their degrees, both face-to-face as well as online options. Online courses provide additional flexibility for all students. In fact, we serve a large population of students who work through college, including adult learners as well. In fact, about 60% of our undergraduate students work, with 10% of them working full-time. This online option affords them to have a blended opportunity to receive their degrees while they're working that way. Apparently, 1/3 of our credit hours are taught online. Most students are taking a mixed schedule, meaning not all of them are online. 83% of online credit hours are taken by Georgia students. The majority of credit hours are still completely face-to-face, the majority. 95% of online courses have 40 students or less. These are not massive situations. In the fall of 25, 81% of all undergraduates came to campus and took at least one face-to-face class. I liken it to the drive-thrus we have at fast food restaurants now. Chick-fil-A, for instance, has a great drive-thru, but they still have to support the cook and all the mechanics and the food inside, whether you come in the restaurant or not. They got to serve. That's essentially what our online courses do. You still have all the infrastructure that's necessary. So when some of these students choose to learn online, our campuses still operate every day. We got buildings, utilities, libraries, academic services, administrative staff in place. And those fixed costs are shared across all of our academic programs, including our online ones. So we know we're working for a funding formula, and most of you know when it was designed. It was designed in 1983 and implemented in 1985. I would think we would all agree that a lot has changed since then. Online learning, for instance, inflation, safety and security risk, not only physical but also cybersecurity risk. Continuous changes in technology, internet speed. If you really want to have a dissatisfied student body, you just don't have fast internet there. Student preparedness, need for more students to support, to navigate and succeed. We've got to have more counseling, mentoring, tutoring, counseling, greater connection to the state's workforce development needs. And I can go on. Well, I think we all recognize that things have changed since that time. And I say that just to say, let's be wise about how we approach changes to the funding formula. We need to have an honest conversation to discuss the higher education formula. This will require working as a team with the governor, you all in the legislature, and the Board of Regents. This will ensure that we don't have unintended consequences for our students. And I want you all to know I'm delighted and happy to work with this body in the interim to reimagine and developing a modern funding formula that's current and includes the elements that matter in higher education today. We need to take a holistic approach, not piece by piece. Picking and choosing changes to elements of an outdated formula is not a wise decision. Moving on to the B units. The first 4 items span multiple programs. The actual programs and reference numbers are included on the reverse side, page 2 of a handout that I gave you. That's the B budget. Rather than addressing the same item by program, I'll address them by category. The recommendation includes $487,000 to support the teachers' retirement system rate change in our B units.
Oh, okay.
As mentioned earlier, you'll see this throughout other education agency budgets as well. That's not something that we set. $174,000 to support increases in health care costs, similar. $3,000 to reflect an adjustment to agency premiums for Georgia Technology Authority administered programs and DOS administered insurance programs, as previously mentioned. I appreciate very much the governor's recommendation and the House's acquiescence in the Georgia Research Alliance program. You know I've been a fan of GRA for a number of years since I was governor. We've seen the impact, and I think we've got about an ROI of about $170 million for what we put in there. It provides the $4.9 million and 285.3 is where I'm speaking from, 285.3. $4.9 million to provide additional funds to GRA member institutions and expand membership to 2 additional institutions. One of them you may be familiar with, Mr. Chairman. It's in Statesboro. It's called Georgia Southern.
That's right.
And Kennesaw as well. This will bring the base budget from $5.1 to $10 million for GRA. In 285.4, $3 million providing one-time state matching funds for 3 eminent scholar endowments. These are money that we attract and recruit some of the best and brightest across the country, bringing their whole teams, and more often than not, in fact, I would think probably typically they bring a huge grants with us, much more than we provide for them in that way. In 286.3, you'll see $500,000 funding an increase for research on post-harvest technology supporting the peanut industry. That's for the grading technology that Georgia Tech is working with on supporting the peanut industry and helping that as well. In last year, you all put in $350,000, and we think that this $500 can get that across the line. You all have been very gracious as well and generous to our public libraries, and you know the importance of them across the state. We're at 290.3 right now, $459,000. That's local library systems for professional staffing, materials, operations, and our state population, which is growing, continues to drive that funding formula, and it's based on a growth of about 114,000 people in our state. On 290.4. $169,000, once again, health insurance contribution per member. 290.6, $585,000, that's the PINE system, Public Information Network for electronic services to lower the rising cost burden of providing increased library resources to residents throughout our state. A great service for people that don't have to travel and get this information. Pines includes a daily courier service visiting all 60 libraries, transport even the loan printed materials that way. The cost of the courier services have increased, and other increases as well due to more and more Georgians borrowing materials, which is good, and fuel costs as well. Our state librarian, Julie Walker, who will retire very soon this spring, can be happy to answer any questions if you have about our library system. Let me turn our attention right now to the special funding initiatives, which are found in section 291. 291.2, the House recommended $1,375,000 to support the Institute of Civic Thought and Leadership at Georgia Tech, which is down, as you can see, from the governor's recommendation. I know that their thinking was probably that you would bring that back up to the $2,805, which the governor had recommended, and that would be our request for you to fulfill that. The Institute is scheduling a symposium at Georgia Tech for April the 2nd. We'd invite you all, bringing together national experts to discuss the critical importance of civic leadership and orientation in a technologically rich society, ethics, morals, and all the AI and different kinds of things that we have to adjust at this time in our society. Additionally, the opening session will focus on the value of civil discourse and the importance of embracing different perspectives in a democratic society. How can we disagree agreeably? Funding in FY27 will be used to hire a program manager, develop speaker series and public forums, and secure and build out space for the program. You may want to know that Georgia Tech is also fundraising from private donors $5.2 million in support of this initiative, so they're having skin in the game as well. Continuing on into 291.4, $2,000 to increase funds for the PFAS research there at UGA and Georgia Tech. That's that forever chemical that plagues our country in many places, and we need more and more research about that in both of our flagships, $100,000 for each institution. In the Regent Central Office, we're at 292.3. Again, $350,000 to support increased cost of the Georgia Library Learning Online, the Galileo system, which is very, very popular and continues to grow. Similar to Pines, Galileo is Georgia's online library. And if you haven't used it, you ought to. It's great. It supports, obviously, our K-12 system, our TCSG, and our USG private academic libraries, as well as the public library system. In 294.4 and 292.5, you got $10,000 and $42,000 to support the SREB contract. That was really it increased the state's participation in regional crisis recovery network at SREB in support of mental health, and the $42,000 increasing funds for our SREB slots in and out of the state optometry program, which very soon we won't need, Mr. Chairman, as you well know, with our optometry program going to Georgia Southern. In 293.3, we're turning again $193,000, removing the one-time funding when we needed it last year for a docked electrical supply line replacement. We did that, and that's complete, and we don't need that money anymore. And the state, you can use it better in other places. Mr. Chairman, that's our report. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Yes, sir, we have a couple of questions. Senator Kilpatrick.
Yes, thank you, Chancellor. I'm afraid on April 2nd we can't go to Georgia Tech because that's Sine Die, so we'll be a little busy that day. But I wanted to congratulate.
You'd have more fun there.
I know, amen. I wanted to congratulate you on your increased enrollment. Not sure what all the factors were, but that's great news. I know that we learned a lot about online learning during COVID and what things it works for and what things it doesn't work for. I'm somewhat familiar with some of the free online platforms for online learning, like Coursera, for example, and I'm just wondering, are they using alternate funding streams? How are they making that free? Are you guys using alternate funding streams for your online platforms?
Most of these are in-house built there, and Georgia Tech has a very robust program, obviously, for their master's online programs that way. But these are on-house and delivered, and it's really driven by the funding formula for those courses as well. Okay.
Senator Burns.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Chancellor. Appreciate you. Appreciate the good work of the university system. I want to return to 294.4, which is the enrollment increase of about 218 million, roughly 2%. And we've had many discussions about what's going to happen in enrollment over the next decade or more. And I concur that the current funding as an enrollment-based approach is probably, it's time to take a hard look at it. And I appreciate your willingness to work with us as we do that. I also agree that we don't need to do it piecemeal. So online delivery is an alternative, and I've had the privilege of teaching in that world, and I've had the privilege of teaching in a traditional world, and I will tell you they're vastly different. But as you pointed out, you still have to have the fundamentals. You still have to have the Chick-fil-A back room in order to deliver the online environment. So I would ask that the university system and really the technical college system engage in some serious discussions about how we can perhaps look at what we've done for the last 43 years and decide what we want to do for the next 43 years. And if the chancellor and the commission would be receptive, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to propose a study committee over the summer, over the off season, to take a deep dive into our funding formulas for higher education so that we can modernize those formulas moving forward. Now, hopefully that'll bring us to a point of saying this is a positive approach so that we make sure. My concern is not the $218 million increase this year. My concern is a $218 million decrease in the future.
Correct.
If we continue to fund based on enrollment. Mm-hmm. So, Mr. Chairman, I appreciate the opportunity, and I appreciate the chancellor, and hopefully we can have a hard, serious discussion about how best to fund higher education.
Let's get it done.
I concur, and we would wholeheartedly accept that opportunity to work with you all, the governor's office. Obviously, it's going to be some changes this year, but I think you all, most of you all, are going to be around, and we would welcome the opportunity to give the perspectives and the data that you need to look at that, modernize this system.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Appreciate your time and report.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Senator Burns. Very timely. Georgia Military College. What an impressive institution. And if those of you that have not been to visit this school and a preparatory school, I would encourage you to do so. It is, I tell you, when the preparatory students come, and I'm sure we'll have some today because we have some about every day, even if they did not have the uniforms on, you can pick them out the lineup. So they're so much respectful. You can put a level on their backs. They're standing so straight. It's very impressive. So please introduce yourself, please, sir, and tell us what line number you're on.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee members. I'm Terry McHenrick. I'm the new president of Georgia Military College. Very proud to be part of this unique institution where we educate and inspire students across the state of Georgia every day. Thank you for the opportunity to present to you today.
And you are two-star?
Major General, retired.
Yeah, thanks, sir.
Yes, sir. I'll be brief, conscious of your time. I'll start off referring directly to the bottom half of page 49, line 298. And this is a health insurance premium increase to the employer.
Right, sir.
And this increase is $14,581 for a total of $3,965,446 for our junior college, and we would request your support to maintain that funding. Next, I'd like to refer to page 50, line 299 for our preparatory school, and this is the quality-based education, QBE formula, and we request your support for an increase of $35,400. This is for student head count and teacher certification level for a total of $5,536,548. And again, we request your support to maintain that funding. Next is page 54 and 55, line 327.1. And this is a scholarship provided by the Georgia Student Finance Commission. And this is a scholarship in support of our students, our cadets, who are also serve as soldiers in the Georgia National Guard. It's a total of $1,082,916. And we request that you maintain these scholarships in support of these soldiers serving in the Georgia National Guard while they get their education. And lastly, this refers to line 3, there's several lines, 375.222 all the way through 225, and then line 240. So those are all related to a major renovation and repair. Is that correct?
For committee members, that is in the bond package for this year, so we do not have those lines in
That's
front
right.
of us.
Thank you. This is under
It is not printed out today.
This is under the Capital Projects and Bonds section for Georgia State Financing and Investments Commission, and we're appreciative that the Governor's Office and now the House have included funding for 10 total major repair and renovation projects, and I can walk you through each of those projects if you have any questions about those, but we request your support to maintain the funding for those. It ensures that we have safe, functional, and modern facilities for our students and cadets. Thank you again for your support of our GMC students and our mission, and pending any questions.
I've seen that. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. And you have several big proponents of Georgia Military College in the Senate. Thank you, sir. Georgia Student Finance, there he is. Chris, come on forward.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, committee. President Chris Green, representing the Georgia Student Finance Commission. So our agency begins on page 51.
Line number.
Yes, sir. Our first line number is going to be 322.1. This is for our college completion grant program. You all passed legislation last year to help us serve more students with this program, and so the governor is recommending an increase of $1 million to support students at our technical college system. The House also agreed with that $1 million add. Mr. Chairman, the next 4 items, 323.1, 323.2, 323.3, and 323.4 are all statewide changes, and so with the committee's permission, I'll keep going. Next, line 324.1, this is for our dual enrollment program. The governor recommended an increase of $27.5 million. The House has reduced that to a recommended increase of only $15 million. I would just add that we continue to see substantial growth in this program. Application opened just the other day for the new year, and we've already received over 24,000 applications. Committee, next, line 326.1. Very excited about this opportunity. You all passed Senate Bill 85 last year, creating the first foster care scholarship. The governor has recommended an initial funding amount of $2.5 million. The House agreed with that, and so we're looking forward to administering that new program. Next, line 327.1. This is for the Georgia Military College Scholarship. The governor recommended an increase of $756,000. The House agreed with that, and that is just to meet the projected need. Next is line 328.1. This is for our HERO Scholarship. The House has recommended a decrease of $30,000. I would just add that FY26 year to date, we are already at $279,000 expended. We do have some small program reserves for this program, but certainly one we may need to keep an eye on if that reduction holds. Committee members, if you'll advance, the next one is line 331.1. This is for our HOPE private program. The governor recommended an increase of $3.1 million. The House agreed with that. Next, below that is HOPE public, line 332.1. The governor recommended an increase of $54 million. The House has reduced that to a recommended increase of $41 million. Next, line 333.1. This is for our Inclusive Post-Secondary Education Grant, or IPSE. The House is recommending a decrease of $500,000. In full transparency there, the new recommended amount, $2.1 million, we do feel like would be sufficient to meet the demand. In FY25, expenses totaled $1.4 million. In FY26, $1.2 million. So certainly budget capacity there. Line 334.1, this is for the University of North Georgia military scholarships. The governor recommended an increase of $671,000. The House also agreed with that, and that is just to meet the projected need. Committee members, next is line 336.1, our new Promise Scholarship supporting K-12 students. The governor recommended fully funding this program at 100%. The House is recommending a decrease of $71 million. We have just entered our first of 4 application periods for this new year.
Give us a quick update on that real fast, on last year and this year.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So you all authorized this new program back in 2024. You gave us a year to secure a vendor and get the program up and running. So we made our first awards in FY26. I hope that you're pleased with the success that we've seen in the first year of this program, serving about 7,700 students, majority of them attending one of our eligible private schools. However, home study expenses are also authorized by statute. All the transactions are taking place in a secure marketplace, and so can easily provide to you a report of how those dollars are being spent. We also look forward to providing a very comprehensive report to this committee in December about what we saw in the first year.
And where's the application process now?
Yes, sir. So one of the things that's very unique about Promise is that we're required to have 4 application periods, and so we have just entered our first one of the 4. 2 are oriented towards students that want to start in the fall semester, and 2 are oriented towards spring semester start. The challenge with Promise, for all of our programs like dual enrollment or Hope, if we ever were to get in a position where we cut it too close, our college partners are familiar with perhaps holding invoices until you all can come back into a session and make us whole in the amended. With Promise, really don't want to get in a position of having to turn students away during the application process, because if those students will be starting, in the fall, it would be before you all could return in March and authorize an amended budget.
And you told me even if a student was already in the Promise Scholarship, they still have to apply. They don't have to qualify, but they have to apply.
Yes, sir. Just as one of the things we're doing to demonstrate hopefully good stewardship of this program, all of our students will be required to recertify, making sure that they continue to meet eligibility requirements, that they are not enrolled in public school, and so can report to you also how many of those inaugural students returned, and then how many new students we expect to serve. And also, Mr. Chairman, you raised another good point. Because that annual list produced by the Governor's Office of Student Achievement changes, we have new districts eligible to participate that were not eligible previously.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Let me go down here first. Okay. Senator Kirkpatrick.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to highlight the foster care scholarship program and just let the committee know that that was one of the recommendations from our study committee this weekend. This summer about youth aging out of foster care.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a great thing that you put that in there. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.
Let me let him finish, and then we'll answer these other questions, okay?
Committee members, next change is 337.1. The House has recommended a reduction of $290,000 to our public service memorial grant. I know we're all thankful, utilization on this program is historically low because it is for the spouses and children of our public safety officers who are permanently disabled or killed in the line of duty. FY26 year to date, we're making about 100 awards to the tune of about $728,000. I should note, though, committee members, very thankful our citizens, when they renew their driver's licenses, have the opportunity to donate a portion of those funds to support this program. And so our citizens have certainly done that and anticipate being able to meet all the demand there. Next is 339.1. This is a large line here, so I wanted to explain. These are our service cancelable loans, and so there are really 6 programs that fall under this. 3 of them have no changes. So the Georgia National Guard, our medical examiners for the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, and our shelter animal vet loan repayment program. There are no recommended changes to those 3. However, the other 3, we have a rural food animal veterinary loan repayment program. The House has recommended an increase of $300,000. The other 2, one is for law enforcement, and the other one is a behavioral health program. And so what the House has recommended is that we take $2 million from that law enforcement program, which we do have capacity to do, just because of how that program was designed, have not been able to serve a large number of recipients. And then with that $2 million, the House has also added $4 million, and what they would like for us to do is to restart a behavioral health profession service cancelable loan. This was a priority of late Speaker Ralston, and something that we had received an appropriation in an amended budget of $10 million. We did administer all of those funds in 2026, and so this is a desire to restart that program. And committee members, last line 340.1, the governor's recommended an increase of $3.9 million. The House agreed for our tuition equalization grant program. And then I should note we have one agency administratively attached to GSFC, that is the Non-Public Post-Secondary Education Commission. They have some statewide changes, and their executive director, Dr. Kirk Shook, is here should the committee have any questions about their changes.
Thank you. We got 5. I want to definitely give Mr. Dozier a lot of time, so we got 5 minutes. So we're going to start with Senator Burns. I think his light was first.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate the work of Georgia Student Finance. You got a big job.
Yes, sir.
You know, I see reach, I see hope, I see dreams, I see promise, I see completion grants, I see dual enrollment. Yeah, I probably missed a few somewhere along the line. And as I look at all those things, the House has recommended reductions in virtually every area. And if I turn back, I'll get to my question in a second. If I turn back to education, if I go back to 123.9, 10, 11, and 12, those are all House ads, but they use lottery funds. So they're choosing to fund their priorities with lottery, but yet they're reducing the governor's recommendations on established programs. Is that not true?
Mr. Chairman.
Don't want to answer that, folks. Let me answer it for him. That might be true. I just point that out. Okay.
Be careful.
And I would suggest that and I'm gonna pick on Hope, because Hope is the longest, most well-established, most successful program in higher education in the nation.
Yeah.
And if the projections are, to my knowledge, are not going down. And I acknowledge that the recommendation of the House is to increase it, but just not to increase it at the governor's recommendation. And I'm especially concerned about Promise, because Promise is just starting up. So we don't even have a really full year or year and a half to know what Promise is going to require. I'm concerned that we are reducing the recommendations from the House are to reduce these funds to the point that they may not be able to meet demands, whether it's dual enrollment or completion grants or Promise or Hope. So I want to thank the President for his work in this area, and I realize that this is you provide the mechanism by which these funds are made available to our students. And we're grateful for that. I think this committee has to just give the direction to the the Georgia Student Finance Commission.
Yeah. Thanks, sir.
Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you. 1 minute, Senator and Parent.
Great. Thank you. I'll be brief. Thanks for your hard work. My question is going back to dual enrollment. I think dual enrollment is a really, really important program to get students toward higher ed acquisition without, breaking the bank, especially if they're from a family that, doesn't really have the means to pay for that. So my question is, I have long thought about this program that we needed to be more data driven. It's like, what are the goals, and who do we need to advance to meet those goals, and then look at the data, reflect back on it, and adjust the program accordingly. And when we cut it, or whatever we did, I'll just call it cut, 5 years ago or 6 years ago, to me, it wasn't done in a thoughtful enough manner because it wasn't really driven by data exactly, at least not the way I thought it should be. So I did work with some other folks a few years ago to put in legislation that we would get a report on the data so that we could better make decisions about the funding of this program. I would like to figure out where I can find that, first of all. And secondly, I did want to mention that they're really against a lot of testimony that we received from groups that spanned the ideological spectrum. From that legislation was cut any kind of demographic data to include where in the state people live, rural, urban. And without doing that, you really can't figure out how you're going to advance the program in a way to meet the goals. I mean, it's just sort of like the other stuff is good, but it's a bit silly. You're flying blind, and that was pointed out to the committee several times. So it's really more a statement, but I would like to ask you about that data piece and what your thoughts are on how you could help this General Assembly make funding decisions that are a bit more driven by what actually are we trying to achieve with various programs, and then what are the funding needs to get there.
1 minute.
Senator, thank you for your support of the program and your comments. We do produce an annual report in December. I will make sure that committee receives that today. Can tell you a lot about the course taking patterns of our students, whether they're in person, online, are they at a USG, TCSG, or independent college, and then of course I know, Senator, how they're doing in those courses, making sure that they're earning credit that will be accepted at one of our institutions. Thank you. Well taken.
Thank you.
Senator, I'm going to ask you if you would talk to him offline.
Could I have one opportunity to?
1 minute then, okay. She's so persuasive.
Thank you so
Yes,
much,
ma'am.
Mr. Chair.
Pull it closer.
This
Let's roll.
goes, thank you so much for your the leadership. You got your basket. is
Pull the
full.
microphone close.
The Promise Scholarship.
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to get some clarity on that. You said there were 7,700 students enrolled, but then you said something about, and are there others that are in the homeschooling category that are not counted in that? I just want to get some clarity, and I know you're going to do a full report in December. Is that right? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Senator. And let me clarify my comments. We had 7,700 students participating in that first year. Of those, I'd estimate over 70% are doing an eligible private school. The rest are pursuing some course of home study.
30%.
Yes, ma'am. And so we've now started a new application cycle. We certainly expect those 7,700 to return, and then new students, first time in the program. As of today, the application's been open, just since March 1, have received over 2,000 new students who we believe are eligible. And so we certainly expect participation to continue to grow. But any information we can provide for you about how those families are using those funds, we want to be good partners, very transparent, and I hope that you're proud of how we're administering the program.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and committee. I always appreciate the opportunity to come, and I will kind of echo what the Chancellor said. Thank you guys for your support over the last many years. I won't hit everything, but just a reminder, we've seen and been blessed in the state for the #1 state for business, and now obviously focused on the top state for talent. And I hope that part of your support with this agency has been seen as what's driving some of that. We've been blessed to have 3.6% growth, 10.6% growth, 9.4% growth, and in the current year we're looking at just over 9% growth. So we've had 4 straight years of growth in enrollment. When you look at that, it wouldn't have been possible without the support of the governor's office and this body truly giving us consistency in funding and consistency in support. So thank you so much for that. It has made a difference, and we're seeing that. I will hit the items in here, and I will pause on two items that aren't changes, but ask one thing of this body to look at, and another I'll expound on what the Chancellor mentioned on the formula. And Chairman Burns, we do, just as the Chancellor said, we've talked offline, but for the good of the whole body here, we look forward to the opportunity to sit down and really take a look at an old formula and see how we maximize the future. Truly is a good opportunity. But we're in section 46 of your document. I'm assuming the last part of your document. And the first change the House has is on line 344.3, and I'll just mention this one time. I won't hit it in every section, Mr. Chairman. But this is the health care reduction as far as what we're paying into SHBP. That amount has not changed from the governor's rec. That amount is just over a $21 million reduction across our agency. It's just the split by program. So as you see these changes, for example, in adult ed, it's a change from $517 to $750,000 on this line item. When you look across all programs, it still balances to the $21 million cut. It just wasn't spread across the system how it should have been. The next change is right under that is 344.4, and that's to add funds for the Adult Workforce High School Diploma Program. That is a bill this body passed in the 2025 legislative session, Senate Bill 193, and it allows entities outside of TCSG to start up a high school diploma program, and gives, if this money is supported, it would give us the authority to do an RFP and then administer that RFP throughout the system. The next major change, and you'll have to flip several pages. On mine, it's page 70 of 73, but it's under the tech ed budget. And I'll pause for a second. That first change is that healthcare change at 348.5. So I'll pause 1 second because we're skipping many programs. I will not cover the health care again. That's once again that spread of that $21 million. That's still the same as the governor's, just spread differently. The next item under it is not a change, but did want to hit it, and that's our formula increase. That's the 348.6, and that is an increase of recognizing the 9.4% increase that I mentioned just a minute ago from a year ago. That credit enrollment growth resulted in a $33.5 million add. That part of our formula is the personal services part of how we fund our instructors. And so a lot of times this body and the House and the governor's office ask us about how do we continue to support our instructors, and this is where we do it with the state money that comes in through the formula, this portion based on credit enrollment that goes into the 5 buckets that we discussed at the last meeting, then goes back into hiring instructors. So that's what this $33 million does. We have a second component of our formula which is supposed to cover all the operational costs, the plumbing, the electrical, the custodians, the landscaping, all the things that relates to running the bricks and mortars part of the college. And it's a square footage formula. And so that increased, our square footage did increase by 0.9, which resulted in a $553,000 add. That total of $34.4 million is very critical to the continuation and support of our future students. We are blessed to have a formula where our colleges function on receiving funding to support continued enrollment based on the enrollment from almost 2 years prior. And so when we look at this, our colleges have earned this from that enrollment, that 9.4%. Next year we'll be back here at the current 9% that I mentioned. And that's really how the old formula works and how we balance, and our colleges have that consistency in how they support the students. I won't re-echo everything the Chancellor said, but a lot of what he said about online is ditto for us. We have a little bit more percentage-wise. We're right at 45% of our classes are online. Those are the online classes that make sense, whether it's an English 1101 or those support classes. Obviously, when you're doing hands-on, those hands-on have to be in person. The actual functioning of the college is just like the chancellor said. We have to we look across. We do not charge one student different than another, and we support those students as they go through, whether they're online or in person. About 30% of our students are online only. Those are the students that are doing a lot of the core classes. Those are the ones that come to us to get some core classes either through dual enrollment or come in and do a study of which they are planning to be a transfer student. The students who are with us are pretty much hybrid. One semester they may be fully online, the next semester they may have split classes, the next semester they may be in person all the time. And so as we look at the future, we do look forward to unpacking all of it, as well as the online students. But honestly, sir, when you look at it, we've been blessed for you guys to support this old formula because it's giving us the stability to move forward and serve our current students. Just as the chancellor said, and I'll hush and move forward, what we teach today is totally different than what we taught so many years ago when this formula was created. The complexities and everything, whether you're looking at a program like cyber that didn't exist when that formula was created, to things that did exist, which was just the hands-on construction management type of things. Moving on, sir, the only other change on this page is 348.8. That's an add of $450,000. That is a mobile alert system that would fund 3 colleges at $150,000 apiece to provide our staff the badges that should something go wrong, they have a way to alert our college police, but also local authorities should something happen on our campus. The next change is on the following page, or at least it is on mine, at 348.9. That's an add of $950,000 by the House for the Southern Crescent Technical College. This funding is for equipment related to aviation welding. To give you an idea of what that college is doing currently today, they do have a dual enrollment pathway when it's related to drone and aviation. We're also looking, or currently are partnering with South Georgia Technical College to start up A&P in a partnership, which is truly anything that's related to not flying, whether it's the maintenance or the aircraft itself. This right here would just really be a connection point for that college to have that equipment to make sure we're servicing our aviation community across this state. The next item is 348.10. That is an add of $2,615,950. That funding will go to Central Georgia Tech to support a local initiative where we have partnered with our local Houston County school system, as well as all other school systems in that regional area, to create a healthcare high school. This would be matching money for a grant that the college is receiving. That initial grant will be $10 million, and we expect it will grow from there. I have had a chance to go out to Tennessee to see a healthcare high school in another state that has gone under this same model. It's very exciting that that entire region will then have the ability to start in high school, going down the pathway of high school. This is a 50% from the House. There is a request, I know, in the Senate, just putting that in front of you, to match this for a total of just over $5 million. The next item is 348.11. It says to increase funds for support services at $150,000. This is specifically funding to support the daycare operation, the 2-gen down in Swainsboro at Southeastern Technical College. That's to keep that facility up and running. The next change that we have that is a difference in the governor and House is a couple of pages over, and it's under our Workforce Development Division. It is item 350.5. I'll pause a second. Mr. Chairman, you have that? Good. That item is increased funds for the high demand apprenticeship program for additional slots across the state. Just a reminder, actually the Senate began this several years ago, and we were very blessed to receive $1.275 million put in the budget for state funding for apprenticeship grants. That money is administered out to industry who are willing to hire folks in high demand areas through an application process to earn up to $5,000 over a 3-year period for the support cost for apprenticeships. Well,
Right.
yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
The training
great.
actually comes through the federal money. This actually provides money to the industry for the support of
that's
that
what-
and the
That's
mentorship.
what I mean.
Yes,
kind
sir.
of for the industry, yeah.
Yes.
That's what I meant.
Last year, this body put in an additional $150,000 to that to help with public service, so local government entities could then apply for that. So today we have $1.425 million in the base budget. This $500,000 would move us back up to just over $2 million.
Yeah. Senator Burns.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate the commissioner. I'm a big fan of TCSG, and interestingly enough, I don't see enrollment going down in TCSG. I see it going up because of the demand. But I would like to go back to you noted the enrollment growth. I sure would like to know your output growth. Can you give me the output certificates, diplomas, and degrees over the last 5 years?
I can get that to you.
I'd
but
like
real-
to have it
but-
because
but-
that's what we're going to be
Yep.
measuring.
Yep. But
we
real-
got to measure outputs.
Yep. But real quickly, just last year we set records in all of those categories. I can tell you that real quick.
I
We
fix
got-
say that's why I want you to brag about it. All right.
We had 47,000 two-year degrees awarded. We had 81,000, almost 82,000 certificates awarded. We had 160,000 students enrolled in technical ed credit side, and we are producing more than we ever have.
Show me the outcome growth by certificate, diploma, or degree. That's all.
Absolutely.
Okay. And the second thing is, I believe you do have a capitalization project. Is that not true?
We do.
I want to plug Augusta Tech's Advanced Manufacturing Center. This is a project that's been on the sheet now for 3 to 5 years.
5.
We worked it hard, and at the end of the day, if we don't get it done, shame on us.
Mr. Chairman, just a quick reminder on that. Governor put in half of it.
I know.
The House did put in a quarter more.
I know.
So we would
So we've
support
got-
that last quarter.
We've got to deal with it.
Yes.
Thank
you.
He's pretty emphatic about that, wasn't he? Well, thank y'all. Thank y'all for your patience. We ran over a little bit, but as we have said so many times, education is the biggest part of the budget and the most, I don't know if the most important part, but pretty close to the most important part. So thank y'all, committee members, for being here, and we'll move on, and I think we go in session at 10 o'clock.